Hello everyone and welcome back to Overwatch 101. This is a series where I help console players get better at playing this game. If you are very good at the game, then kudos, but the game can be difficult for some, especially on console, with aiming and all that being very important. We're going to talk today about defending Volskaya Industries, and defending Volskaya Industries can actually be very difficult. It's kind of a tall order, right? And the reason for that is because this choke point here is split by this big truck, right? You can't just stand right here, right, in the choke point, because this is very dangerous. You're standing directly under the choke point, right? And there are two ways in which the enemy can attack you from here. You have absolutely no cover. So your shield is going to die immediately, right? And then once it dies, you have to come back, right? You have to turn around to retreat. And once you do that, they're just going to attack you, right? They're going to shoot you. You're probably going to die. And then the Reinhardt is lost. And when Reinhardt is lost, well, that's pretty much the end of that hold, right? The end of that defensive hold. So I covered in the attacking video for Volskaya that this is where 95, hell, even like 99% of the defensive holds take place, right? Because this is really the only option you have. Defending over here, right, is not very good. And the reason for that is, first of all, the health pack in this room is a lot further back than the health pack in that room, right? You can get to this health pack over here a lot faster, and you can get to the high ground in case you need to as a defensive player much easier than you can over there. So that's why defending over here is much better. Plus, the attack almost always comes from that side. They hardly ever come from over here, which is kind of odd, but that's just how it goes. So you're going to want to be here so that you can lay into them, right, when they come around that corner. Now, let's say the attack takes my advice, like I said in Volskaya, for attacking, and they go to the left. They go through that door, they go through there very quickly, right, before I can really do anything to them. Now, if I'm over here and I see that happening, if I were to go around here and try to go in there after them, that would be very dangerous, because that is a choke point, okay? And they're in a very enclosed space, right? And I can only fit one or two of my people through here at a time. So they can just wail on us from inside, backing us off, right? However, if they go into that room, right, the best way to defend, okay, now you're going to see this pretty quickly, right? You're going to have to think very fast. If you see them going that way, then you have to move. Now if they might be, not necessarily dumb enough, right? I won't say dumb enough, but they might just move straight through. They might not go into that room. If they do, then you absolutely just have to fight it out right here, right? You cannot let them onto that objective, okay? So you fight it out right here. You try your best to get those picks. But if they do move into that room, then you still have to be very quick about getting around here and getting over there to meet them, right? Because they're moving through that room as well. Now, you cannot let them out of this room, right? You cannot let them out of this room. Now, he would be dead because he went over there, but the rest of his team cannot follow him through there, right? They can't follow him that quickly. So he went through there and did that. He tried his best to open up an opening, right? But he missed. So usually, that works in our favor, all right? Like I said, do not let them out of this room, right? You want them to be contained in this room. You want to capture them kind of like, a mouse, like a cat would a mouse or whatever. You want to capture them in here, okay? And you want your people firing in there, okay? And the reason this is nice is because you've got a little bit of cover here, right? So if your shield breaks, you can kind of take a little bit of cover here, let it build back up, do a little pot shotting, right? Try to get your eliminations, all right? And you've also got a lot of distance in case somebody tries to go out the back and be sneaky and get around and do some things here. You've got a lot of distance that they have to cover before they can get up close and do a lot of damage, right? So you can have someone watching that way, and you just don't let them out of this room. Now, if they do get past you and take that high ground that we covered in the other video, you have no choice but to retreat to the objective, okay, and gain distance from that high ground. Get as far back here as you can get, okay? Now, they will try to wear your shield down because that's what they're supposed to do, but you've got a little bit of cover here, okay, to let it regen, okay? The rest of your team can also take cover here. And eventually they will have to jump down, and that's when you pounce on them, okay? And fight it out for your objective, right? This is when you fight it out for the objective, is when they pounce down. And hopefully you can get that defensive hold. Now, the other way that they can come in, as we've discussed in the other video, is they can just come mauling around this corner real quick, right? And if they do this, you literally have no option except for to fight them here, right? You literally have no option but to fight them here, because if they come mauling around this corner and you retreat, right, then they have the advantage because you're letting them have that high ground up there. So you absolutely cannot let them have this room, right? You can't let them have this high ground. That's too dangerous. So you have to fight it out in here. You have to absolutely say no. And if they come mauling around the corner and they go that way, right? They don't take the room. They just go straight that way. Then that actually works even better in your favor, because you can just turn around and start wailing on them, right? Gives you a little bit more room to fight so that you're not all cornered in a room. All right. Now, those are the two best ways to defend the first objective. Now, let's say they do get past you and they get this high ground somehow, right? Then you immediately have to abandon that. Do not follow them, because you will die. You immediately have to abandon and go around this way to get your distance from them, okay? And you hold here, right? You've got the cover of the building here, okay? You have to hold here. Now, they're going to be up there. You just have to let them do their thing, right? You just have to let them do their thing. You stall the time, and when they jump down, you attack. It's the same way they're attacking you, right? That's all you can do. All right, that covers the first point. It's the best ways to defend it and the best places to fall back to if they do grab those high grounds. All right, now let's move on to the second objective. And the second objective is the most difficult part of defending Volskaya, right? It can be very difficult, and if you go and watch the other video, you'll see why, right? It's because they have so many ways to attack from. There are so many ways to flank into Volskaya, and if they have a good flanker who's really good at being a distracting, annoying little buzzing fly, okay, then it'll be very easy for them to push in here. Very, very easy, all right? Now, when you are on Volskaya, your absolute best option is to stay on the objective, right? Now, that may seem like an unwise strategy, right? Because on Hanamura, we discussed that the objective was actually the last place you wanted to be. So Volskaya and Temple of Anubis share something in common. The objective is usually the best place to be, right? And the reason for that is because there really isn't anywhere else to defend. You don't want to be down here because that's a low ground and you're just leaving the objective open to be attacked, right? There is a high ground back here, okay, that you can get on top of, but you're giving them such little resistance in between where they come in and the objective when you're all the way back here, right? It gives them so much time to get on the objective and to set things up that they might want to set up. You don't want to be this far back away from the attackers, right? Even though this is the high ground. You also do not want to be over up here on the left, right? You don't want to be up here because this is too close, right? It is nice to be up here to defend against them being up there. You can do a little defense in that way. But someone that's real sneaky, right, could just come through here and sneak under, okay, and then get on the objective. And once they're on the objective, you're going to be like, whoa, what? You're going to have to turn around and jump down to the objective. And then once you do, then the attackers will just flood in, and it'll be no-no from there on out. The reason you don't want to be over here is because of the same reason you don't want to be up there. You're too far away from the attackers, right? You do have this nice cover, but you can't see them. You can't see what they're planning when you're over here, right? Not unless they take that way, right? Which they could, or take that way. Now, once again, we'll cover this again. You do not want to be back here. This is too far away from the objective, right? Plus, this is too timid. This is not aggressive enough being back here. If they sense that you're retreating back here off of the objective, you will put in their minds that you are not willing to fight. And that will give them the confidence and the aggression to take you out. Okay? Overwatch is much more a mind game than you think. The absolute best place to be for Volskaya is right here on the edge of the objective, right? Because this right here and that right there create kind of a choke. Now, it's not a very strong choke because they're not very close together at all. However, you can go back and forth between the two relatively quickly, right? So you can defend your teammates. Now, you will have to watch out for flankers, of course, okay? But we'll cover how to deal with flankers in another video. As for right now, we just want the basics of Volskaya. You have to defend right here, okay? Because they could come head on, and you need to be right here. If they go to your left, right? If they come from your left, then you have to meet them here. Okay? You have to meet them here and fight it out, because this would not be a good place for them to be. And we covered that in the other video, right? If you can come here and fight them off, right, this is very nice. And it's very easy to fight them off, right? It's very easy to get them to back off when you can control this area here, all right? Now, if you see them go through there and off to the right, okay, then what you have to do, okay, is you have to go over there with them, right? You have to go over there with them, but you do not go down here. This is dangerous. There is a nice juicy health pack in there, but that is only used as a last resort, right? You do not come down here to follow them going that way, because as you can see, he has clear high ground over me there. If you see them go through the door and head off that way, you have to turn around and come back here to these stairs, right? Because it's going to take them just as long to take that high ground as it will for you to come back here. Don't come out here, right? Let them come to you, because this is a great place to be for defense, right? You have a small health pack down there. You've got another one across the way there. Your spawn is right back there, so you can heal up there if you need to. This is a pretty nice high ground to have, right? And you'll have the choke, okay? Now, he can do that all he wants, but then you just fight him and you kill him, right? So if they do, or if they're crazy enough to take that way, which I don't see it very often, but you might, if they're crazy enough to take this way, just set up in this room, right? Just come up these stairs and set up in this room, and don't let them have it, okay? Now, if they're crazy enough to take the elevators, right? If they're crazy enough to take the elevator, and you can't really see that, right? If they're crazy enough to be able to sneak behind and get behind you as an entire team, then you have to turn around and back off the objective just a little bit, right? Not a whole lot, but just a little bit, because if you stand here, you're going to die, okay? You're too close to where they are. So you have to give yourself some space, right? While not leaving the objective completely, you still have to back off and give them just a little bit of space, okay? Because they'll have to jump down eventually, and that's when you fight it out. Now, you're not going to see that very often. You're not going to see entire teams behind you very often, okay? What you will see very often, however, what you see the most is teams that take that high ground. And in the case that they do take that high ground, a really, really great thing to do is to just come over here, right? The reason you come over here, look, he can't hit me, right? He can't do anything to me from over there. He can't hit me, right? So he has no choice but to get onto the objective. Now, as soon as I see him jump down, that's when I attack, right? Because if he jumps down and I don't move from over here, then he has me at the advantage, because he has the objective and I have nothing but death behind me, right? I don't want to have my back to open space where I can fall for too long, because he could charge me and take me off. A Lucio could boop me off. Anything could happen with me being over here. This is not a good place to hold, and they have a little bit of a high ground. It's not much, but you'd be surprised how much of a difference that can make. Now, when they do jump down, as I said before, you will see it, and you have to act very fast. Get back on the objective and attack, right? Because he will jump down eventually. He'll get tired of not being able to shoot me, okay? And he'll jump down, and he'll attack, and then you attack, okay? You have to react at that point. You have to get him off of your objective and fight for what's yours. All right. This has been Defending Volskaya Industries. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something, and good luck in your Volskaya endeavors. As I said, it can be an irritating map, but I believe in you. I believe with those tips that you will have a better chance at winning. This is Overwatch 101. signing off.